This is my video diary. This is where I am going to try to communicate the thoughts that are all swarming in my head and my heart, and I'm going to try my very best to not think and just share right from whatever's in my head and in my heart, and try not to filter it the best I can. So this week there was a lot of opportunities for me to be, I think, defeated and overwhelmed, and I was feeling those things as well. On Tuesday, I had the privilege of helping out a friend at her father's memorial. And why I enjoyed doing that is because, as I said to her very oddly, I have a superpower. And the superpower is helping people when they're grieving. I'm not good at a lot of other things, it feels like sometimes, around sadness or depression, but in regards to grieving, I handle it. I handle it well if you can. Sorry, I'm getting a notification. If you can handle it well, and it feels like such an honor and privilege to ever walk alongside someone during their hard times and their struggles. It is such a privilege when you are struggling with the death or the process of someone dying. And you have a privilege to see into it or to go through it. You learn people's true hearts and what they really feel. And I had heard or read or watched some podcast. I do a lot of those. Or maybe it was a Bible verse. I don't remember. I just remember the idea was that whatever's in your heart or in your soul, when pressure is applied, that is what's going to come out. And often when we're grieving, pressure is applied and you find what's really there. And what I have found over and over again is how kind people are and how good people are. So it's really amazing that helping a friend at her dad's funeral would teach me even more lessons than I even knew that I needed to learn. I am completely in the process of learning things. I am nowhere where I want to be, but I'm learning I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And what I learned, and what a gift it was for my car to be stolen from that memorial. I picked up my daughter at 12 o'clock, Elodie, from school, so her and I could go and serve and love on this family in any way we can. Maybe that's sitting, maybe that's talking, maybe that's taping or moving or decorating tables, or we made banana pudding, whatever, whatever's needed. And Elodie did it willingly, and she has a gift of hospitality, and I knew she was going to be amazing, and she was. Near the end of the night, I went out to go put some things in my car that I had brought, and my car wasn't there. I went into sort of like shock and confusion, but more like laughter, like, oh my gosh, like, where's my car? Where's my car? In stressful situations like that, I tend to be fairly level-headed. I don't freak out normally is how I respond to things. I get into like go mode. When I got a phone call that my brother has suddenly passed away, I went into, I need to have deodorant, I need a backpack, I'm probably going to be staying the night at my mom's house for a while, I don't know what this means. That's typically kind of how I react to things. Neither here nor there, that's how I respond to things normally. So I kind of did the same thing here, and had a whole bunch of people at the memorial looking around all over for my backpack that I had brought, makeup, extra deodorant, change of clothes, the things that you need when helping people out. And so I had it in the kitchen, and we were looking all around for it, and it was gone. So then I knew the key to my car was gone. And that meant my car really was gone and it was stolen. So I called 911, and as I was talking to them, pretty calmly, and everyone's trying to help and asking me questions while I'm talking to them, the officer on the other line trying to help said, is there any way that they have your address, or is there a way that they could get into your house? Because sometimes if they steal your car, then they would go to your house knowing you're not home. And I found out later also that people often target memorials because they know people aren't home, or they're distracted and they're taking an opportunity during this time. So I said, well, I guess it's a possibility. And they said, well, we want to secure the location. Are you okay if we send an officer there, a local Snoqualmie police officer there, and I said, I immediately, like, it knocked me out. And I said, I have a 12-year-old daughter who's there right now. And I'm about 45 minutes away from that. You can't send an officer there. She's going to freak out. To which I tried calling my husband and trying to locate where he was at football practice with our other son. And I luckily had our youngest, who's 8, with us. But it took me out, because we always say in our family, people are more important than things. I wasn't worried about the car. I wasn't worried about the backpack. I wasn't worried about any of the things. I was worried about my daughter. That this inconvenience of a car being stolen would somehow impact her, because that's my puppy. He knows I'm sad. Here, I'll show you. Hey, Bristow. Hi. It would somehow impact the people. And when you go through a lot of tragedy in your life and sadness, it's okay, buddy. I'm okay. When you go through a lot of sadness and tragedy, you know what's really important, and a car being stolen is nothing, you know? I would have gladly even handed the keys over if needed. But my daughter, that's different, you know? So I called my neighbor in panic. God bless people that just take care of things and get it. And I just called her completely frantic, and she said, not a problem. What do you need? I will go get her right now. So she grabbed Kennedy and our dog, Bristow, and took him and put him into safety. And she offered to come and get me, to do whatever is needed. But it was fine. And so then I hung up. So I had previously hung up with 911, hung up with her. And then I called them back and said, yes, you can send an officer there now. My daughter is at a secure location. And just was trying to figure out what's next. And so a whole bunch of wonderful people at this memorial that were grieving turned all their attention off of what they were dealing with, and they handled what I was dealing with. And they said, we need to pray. And so I had a circle of women and men and kids surround me and Elodie, and we just wrapped our arms around each other. And we prayed for the safety of my daughter. We prayed for the 2 people that took, we didn't know at the time, but we prayed for the people that took my car. And an 8-year-old, my 8-year-old and another 8-year-old prayed that I hope that they return the car. And then another one said, I hope that they don't, if they don't bring it back to this church, but that they go to some church. Because if you've ever raised a child, you are an uncle or an aunt, you know children, you were a child, and you remember it, they just get it in a different way. And their hope was that these, you know, bad people would come to a church and change their ways, or change whatever plan they had, and stop and come to a church, because for them a church is safe and they find love. And I also met that day at that church at a funeral. So I don't know, felt like I wanted to make this video or share with you all that there is so much kindness in the world. And it's often the way we look at it. You know, I really, we all have opportunities to decide, am I going to focus on that I was violated and someone came and stole my purse, and they stole a few $1,000s and charged things and, you know, really inconvenienced my life and stole my car. And at the time I didn't know if we would get it back. Or am I going to focus around the helpers and the people that surround? And the funeral we were at of my friend, they said, what else do you need? Do you need a car? We have a car. We'll give you our car. So they left the memorial after it was over during the reception. 2 amazing men went and picked up this extra car that they had. No strings attached, just said, return it when you want. They came back, handed me the keys to the car, made sure I was safe, loaded my car with all the things that I brought to the memorial, loaded my daughter in, made sure we were safe, and we headed home, completely taken care of. That's amazing. I hope that you all, when you run into roadblocks or things that are hard, that you've cultivated a life that when you look around you, you have people that step in and they step up in a beautiful way. If you're holding on in your hand things that you shouldn't, they're not open to receive the things that we really need. I heard that recently. It was very powerful from Rachel Hollis. Don't fill your life and fill your hands with things that are harmful to you and aren't good. Relationships, people. More, if you give more love, all you do is create more. I am so grateful that my car was stolen. It woke me up. We were driving home in this gifted car, my daughter and I, and had a great opportunity, Ellie and I, to talk about stuff. And we prayed for the people who took the car. We prayed for her backpack, that she would get it back. It was the simple things. And eventually when we got a phone call from the police that it was impounded and found, she said, when she came home from school, is my backpack, is my lunchbox in there? And I told her, and she just felt the greatest of joy, You can't appreciate something unless you lose it sometimes. So I've been doing an inventory. What are the things that I have that I would actually be afraid of losing? And what are the things that I don't care if I would lose? Perhaps they don't have as much power as I give them. So that's what I'm learning. That's what I thought. I also have no makeup on because it was stolen and taken. So I just also was thinking, I'm saying that a lot, but you don't know what people are walking through or dealing with when you walk by them. You don't know if they have lines under their eyes because of the struggle it is to wake up in the morning. You don't know what anyone walks through in their life and what shoes they're filling or what sort of hats they're trying to wear in their life that are too hard. So what you see today, your story matters, is crazy hair, girl who finally took a shower, who has not a stitch of makeup on because I don't own any right now, and that's okay. But I'm a grateful person that I got to get my car back. Great. But now I get into it and it's a gift. And the car is to bless me and hopefully others. Sorry, I'm really emotional right now. Because I could have had kids in the car. It could have been worse. Often, if you know me at all, I take my precious dog everywhere with me. And I even thought about bringing him. He could have been in the back. And he could have been gone. It could have been so worse, And I also am fully aware that someone taking my car isn't a big deal. But it provided an opportunity for a roadblock for me to decide what's important. And I'm so grateful for it. I pray that you all can find opportunities to be grateful, to right now stop and find why you're grateful and what you are and where you're going, and to say to yourself, how can I be better today? That's it. How can I be better today? If we all decide to be better today than we were, maybe we wouldn't have a lot of the problems that we have. Thank you. I hope you all realize that you are loved and that you're enough, whether you have makeup or not.